Alright, we are in. Howdy, howdy, everybody. What made the apple so bad? I'm in this bitch. I've been him. I am him. I was out in the muggiest fucking temperature I've ever felt. The humidity was like 120%. I was drenched all day. But alas, here we are now, ready to continue Bad Apple from Chapter 3. Can't break free. Let me just get my everything set up on my desk. There we go. The past 3 days passed by rather quickly, not surprising the slightest since I had lost all sense of time a while ago. Trying to ignore the massive headaches that make my skull feel like it's shrinking as it crushes my brain, I've just been staring at the wall for the past couple of minutes, gazing upon its yellow-stained brilliance. Although I can't say these past 3 days have been any more productive or eventful, a typical rock ring session here, trolling some kidney and gum enthusiast forums there, not to how to mention my attempts of finding new Adderall hookup, haven't been exactly successful. Turns out that bitchy cashier at my usual spot notified the manager and told all the other pharmacies in the area not to serve me. Just my fucking luck. So the past couple of days, I've had to rely solely on shitty dollar store coffee to keep me awake. Even then, it hasn't exactly helped. I passed out at 2 a.m. in my desk chair watching a Saturnian marathon. The dreams I had last night were... let's just leave it at that. Despite all the hell I've been through the past couple of months, my mood has improved slightly over the past couple of days since my reunion with Rosa and Stella. Never was I expecting to ever run into them again, nor would I expect that they would want anything to do with me. I was so convinced that they would just abandon me once Rosa drove me home after having me stay the night, but they've been chatting with me every day, both of them. Rose and I have mainly been talking about what's been happening at Volcano High since the shooting. Apparently, Principal Spears resigned about 2 weeks after the incident, along with Mr. Fernsworth and Mr. Suki. That can't have been easy on the conscience, knowing the students under your care died, the pupils that you guided through the daily slog, gone forever. However, she seemed to dominate most of the conversation during our text messages, frequently inquiring about my well-being after I accidentally confessed to being a schizo. "Have they been bothering you today, Anan? How has your sleep been?" Part of me feels like I'm talking with my mother, rather than my friend. Although Rose has done more for me in the past week than my parents have in the last 6 months. Surprisingly enough, my conversations with Stella over text have been far more engaging. The girl I met last Sunday who ran away at the sight of me, or broke down in panic due to my freakout, was nowhere to be found during those texts. Stella was a lot more outgoing, asking about anime I've been checking out, while telling me about all the new ones she's seen. Surprisingly, her taste has improved, if only slightly. It turns out, she even plays video games too. I guess anime and tarot readings can get boring after a while too. Although, that's where our tastes seem to diverge, as she plays typical weeb trash like God Collision, Last Wish 14 Online, and of course, Parasarnia. Although I can't say I'm surprised, honestly. Additionally, she told me that she's been trying to become a better artist by practicing in her free time. She even sent some photos of her art, knowing I was expecting some basic Fujo shit, but the images I got were pretty well done. It just really goes to show to me how little I really knew about Stella until now, how little I knew about either of them. They all seem to be the same general kind of idea, close-ups of anime characters. Some were surrounded by flames, one of them obscured by bathing in stars. However, the one that stood out to me was her drawing of a particularly long-haired, white-haired human woman clutching her chest in the sea of stars, her eyes closed shut, tears straining her cheeks, and yet the expression painted across her face showed peace rather than sadness. While I'm not going to pretend I know the first thing about art, I can tell she poured a lot of herself into these drawings. Despair, sorrow, fear, and yet hope. While her art is clearly more influenced by the anime she watches, paired with the typical occultist art found on tarot cards, many of her drawings seem to be driven by her own emotions, the trauma she endured. Although nothing is confirmed, Stella didn't explain the meanings of these pieces when she sent them to me. She only asked for feedback, and seeing how sensitive she has been when I saw her a couple of days ago, I didn't feel comfortable asking. Maybe I'll ask her today. Rosa did say that she wanted to take us out for dinner today. It was originally going to be a lunch, but I guess something came up during gardening club meetup, so we had to delay it a bit. But still, it's nice to see them again. For the longest time I was prepared to spend my life as a hermit, but since those two came back into my life, I felt something inside me I haven't felt in a really long time. I felt alive. What the fuck? The sudden rhythmic banging emerges from the door causes me to jump slightly. Thankfully, I'm on my bed. I probably would have bumped against my desk if I was in a chair, but I didn't want a repeat of that cigarette incident. My legs practically being held together by a shitload of gauze bandage, so I need to be really careful. Shuffling myself out of the worn mattress and taking hold of my crutches, I wobble myself over to the front door. For the first time in a while, I did a little bit of cleaning. My apartment still looks like shit, but at least I won't be tripping over all the garbage anymore. Most of the mess is now regulated to my dresser and countertop. Quietly leaning against the door, I clutch my knife in my pocket as I take a peek through the peephole. I can only make out a blur of white obscuring the rundown hallway. Glancing closely, I can make out... feathers? No. Is this real? Is she in my head? How is she able to knock on the door? Is it her parents? Didn't her mother have white feathers too? If Trish was able to find me, then they would be able to as well. Fuck! Vamos! ¿Qué está haciendo ahí? Wait. Rosa? I rub my eyes with my free hand instinctually and gaze back into the people and see a rather expectant-looking Ankylosaurus, who appears to be holding something behind her back. Anon, are you home? Rosa calls out through the door. Wait. How the hell did she even find my room number? She's only ever dropped me off in the front of the entrance. Taking my weight off the door, I unlock the door and manage it open with my free hand. Leaning my back against the door for support, I finally greet my reunited friend. Hola, Anan. It is good to see you again. Her face quickly lights up with a smile. Ready to get some dinner? Wait, that was today? Fuck me. I've really lost all sense of time. But who am I to say no to a meal? Ready as I'll ever be, I quip, eliciting a chuckle from Rosa. Wonderful! But before we go, I have something for you, she cheerfully explains as she moves her arm, revealing a leg brace in her arm. Mi madre was able to get you a new leg brace to replace the one that was broken. For me? I don't know what to say. She lets out a chuckle with a smile. You can thank me for coming with us for a good time. I can't help but feel a smile form on my own lips as well. The movement has become so foreign over the past few months, I've forgotten what it feels like. Nobody has ever been this kind to me in a long time. Thank you, Rosa. This really means a lot to me. Oh, I'm about to say more, but it occurs to me that something else is missing. Where is Stella? Oh, Stella's just over by the entrance to the stairs, waiting for us. Rosa replies to my mumbling before motioning down the hallway. Wait, why didn't she come with Rosa? It's not like we haven't been talking the past couple of days. You're mumbling again, Anon. She reminds me while we're walking at a slow pace so my crippled ass doesn't get left behind. Not te preocupes. She's happy to see her. You know how she is right now. Yeah, that's true. I agree. Suddenly it makes sense, given her shy nature. It makes sense that she'd want to have an easier time conversing over text rather than in person, especially with everything that's happened to her. We approach the elevators. My eyes begin to spot a certain lime-colored stego on the ground, currently engrossed by her phone with her headphones plugged in, not paying mind to her two companions approaching her side. She actually seems rather calm. You know, for someone by herself in the city's shittiest apartment complex. Stella? My words echo through the hall as the preoccupied Stella ignores my words as she continues to watch whatever's on her phone. Rosa quite literally takes a step further and kneels down, placing her hand on Stella's shoulder. Stella, it's... Ah! Stella cried out as she recoiled from Rosa almost instinctually and remained seated on the ground, hyperventilating. Her reaction almost causing me to land on my own ass. It's hard enough keeping balance on crutches. Hey, está bien. Rosa backs up while attempting to comfort Stella in a soothing voice. Look, Anon's here. Now we are ready to go. Stella's breathing slowed down, and she looked past Rosa. The distressed expression painted across her face quickly warmed up as soon as she recognized me. Hey, Anon. It's good to see you again. You too, Stella. Come on, there's more than I say than just that. Think, Anon, think. So, how's that Viking anime you were telling me about the other day? I rather pathetically answer. I can feel her tension ease at the question. She lifts herself off the ground, and a slight smile on her face becomes more apparent. Oh, I finished it already. It was such a good show. You should watch it. Stella beams with her answer, probably the most enthusiastic I've seen her yet. Okay, niños. We should probably get going and continue the conversation in the car, see? Rosa interjects, eager to get to the restaurant. I wonder where she had in mind anyway. About 15 minutes since we left Skin Row, the drive felt nice. The rhythm stayed the same as the past 2 times with Rose in the driver's seat, still in the passenger seat, and I have the back seat all to myself. Granted, I always preferred the back seat, especially when I went on long drives with my parents when I was younger. However, back then I didn't have to get an awkwardly positioned mangled leg. My mangled leg to avoid hurting it. I take notice of said leg, now equipped with the leg brace where it was broken. It definitely feels more comfortable and manageable trying to move around with the broken leg, and no way to hold it in place to say was difficult. However, the lively conversations I had with Rosa and Stella helped me forget the pain I was in more ways than one. Learning about what these two have been up to since graduating was actually quite refreshing to hear. Stella was telling us how she started a new art piece when she was working on after being inspired by some anime. Of course. Rosa was telling me about Spears' replacement, and most likely the source of a lot of her stress. Merda, I tell you, Principal Roberts is going to be the death of me. It's always something isn't good enough. Meetings should be handled this way. You can't make that change. The ankylosaur let out an exhausted sigh. I miss Principal Spears. He may have been strict, but at least he was fair. Damn, this new principal sounds like a real hard-ass. Spears might have been an exception to the rule, but if you aren't a tyrannical dickbag, are you even a school principal? From the passenger seat's window, Stella gazes at her surroundings before turning back to the driver. Rosa, did you say where we're gonna eat again? I was curious about that myself. Where did she want to take us? I don't recall her saying anything other than the fact that she wanted to take us out. Oh, it is a lovely little Italian place in Little Trudon. My heart sinks ever so slightly with those words. She doesn't mean. Remember those concerts we went to last year? No. Fuck! Out of all the places we could have gotten dinner at, why does it have to be that place? Oh, nice. So Stella replies to Rosa with a feigned enthusiasm. It isn't hard to tell that she isn't the most enthusiastic about that either. As Rosa's car approaches our destination, a large neon sign begins to reflect the color across the windshield. Dynamos. Rosa put the car in park, surprisingly far away from the building. A quick glance in front of us shows that the mostly nearby parking spots have already been occupied by different cars. Hey, it's really busy tonight. Rosa sighs as she twists the key in her car's ignition, cutting the power off. Hopefully the wait isn't too long. Yeah, no kidding, I reply with a hint of nonchalance, trying to hide the guilt and shame of bubbling inside me. My attention is directed towards the stammering Stegos in the driver's seat. Visibly uncomfortable, her eyes pointed at the dashboard. Rosa takes note of this and places a hand on her shoulder. Hey, it's okay, Stella. I'm sure it won't be too bad in there. Plus, you got Nan and I, see? Yes, you're right. Wait, did she? Do you need help with the car door, Anon? Rosa asked me, snapping me out of my own thoughts. Fuck, that caught me off guard. I should be okay. I struggle as I attempt to open the door with my right and carefully move my non-crippled leg out of the car and onto the ground. It's awkward, but I catch on. Bueno, now let's have some dinner, shall we? The three of us proceed to make our way to the entrance of Dynamo's. Rosa, trying to match my slow pace, seemingly concerned with my ability to walk. Stella, on the other hand, has been walking more slowly than either of us. I turned my head to see her trailing behind, the hood over her head and both of her hands in her pockets. She's clearly not looking forward to this for whatever reason. Can't say I blame her. An uneasy feeling of dread-ridden regret grows larger the closer we get to the restaurant. The tight feeling gripping my chest like a vice as I drag my feet towards the building. The restaurant was owned by Fang's uncle, who let us use the place as the band's first venue. The restaurant where we had our first date, where I got to see the girl behind that angry mask. Only for me to fuck it all up and force that mask back on her. And, are you okay? Rosa must have heard me mumbling. Fuck, how much did she hear? Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about some stuff I'm dealing with at home. I try to reflect. However, Rosa doesn't seem completely buy my answer. Okay, but remember, we're always here for you if you need to talk. She consoles me with a sympathetic glance. Crisis averted. The three of us finally make our way inside and enter the restaurant. Unsurprisingly, it's fairly busy today. There's already a group of people in front of us, college students from the look of it. Glancing around the establishment, I could probably count the number of tables that are empty on my hand. My eyes wandered to the table where Fang and I sat, the table occupied by a disinterested family of four. The emotions hit me all at once like a flood. Regret, sorrow, longing. I'm too distracted by my own pity party to acknowledge the overwhelming scent of cheese and tomato sauce. Okay, I have to admit, that actually smells pretty good. Far better than the microwavable cardboard that passes for pizza I've been partially living off of. Hello, welcome to the historic Dynamos. Table for 3 tonight. A human woman at the front desk greets us with a rather monotone voice. Surprised to see another human in this part of town. Rosa replies with a nod. See, just us 3. Right this way. The waitress lazily grabs a stack of menus and beckons us to follow her as we traverse the sea of tables, with Rosa taking the lead and Stella trailing behind me. I get glances from some of the patrons of the restaurant as I pass the tables, their expressions mainly ranging from curiosity and confusion. I'm used to this shit by now, but it's not like they've never seen a human anymore. After all, who's the one that got their table? The human woman directs us to the table at the center of the establishment, facing my friends, and as she abruptly stops, "This table okay with you guys?" The waitress asks as she drops the menus on the table. I turn my head to see Stella struggling to speak up, her hood draped over her head while avoiding eye contact with anyone. Excellent, gracias. Rosa's affirmation cuts off Stella's protest, and we all take a seat at the table in front of us. Although Stella does with obvious reluctance, Stella and I sit next to each other, with Rosa sitting across the table from us. The waitress turns to leave, but snaps back towards us, looking like she almost forgot the first rule of hospitality. Can I get you anything to drink? She asks us, her tone a lot more alert than last time. Oh, I'll just have a lemonade, por favor. Rosa chimes in as she raises her hand, like a student in the classroom. Funny, I always did see her as a lemonade type of girl. And how about you? The waitress asks me impatiently. What? I stammer out loudly after briefly zoning out. I'll have a Coca-Cola, no ice. Thank God, I'm eager to have a caffeinated beverage that doesn't taste like mold for once. And I'll have a strawberry milkshake, please. Stella meekly asks our server, causing her to give us the shy Sago a rather sardonic look. Does this look like the type of place that would serve milkshakes? Oh. The waitress's response causing the Stego to shrink back in her seat. I get working customer service must be painful, but does she really need to be this much of a cunt? All she asked for was a milkshake. It's okay. Rosa tries to reassure Stella before returning to the server. Could we just get her something like a strawberry soda? Surely you have those on the menu. Yeah, we might have something like that. The waitress responds rather gruffly as she writes down our order and leaves without saying goodbye. 10 out of 10 service, huh? No kidding. She doesn't need to be that much of a puta. Rosa replies my mumbling with a furrowed brow after she relaxes in her seat. It's okay, guys. I'm fine with a strawberry soda. Stella replied gingerly as she takes off her hood. The Stego's affirmation causes a soft smile to form on Rosa's lips as she glanced our way. However, anything she said was drowned out by the voices throughout the diner. I swear Mr. Jefferson needs to get a stick out of his ass. His deadlines make no sense. We'll see, Jessica. If we have time to stop on the way home, we can check it out.
I think they gave me the herbivore sausage by mistake.
The surrounding voices drown out my own thoughts, almost to an overwhelming amount. I mean, I think she's cute, but I'm not even sure if it's the right time to ask her out, you know? For the last time, I don't care about the new Call of Duty game. Literally all of them are the same. You never truly cared about me, Anon, did you? Wait, what? What was I to you? A joke? A toy? Another project to fix? Wait, where is she? I want to gaze around the room, but I find myself without the energy to do so. Tell me, is the only reason you pretended to care about me... Stop it. So you could get into my pants the last time we had together? Please, before you killed me? No! Anon! The nearby voice pulls me out of my stupor, and I see both Rose and Stella looking at me expectantly. Huh? Sorry, what did you two say? I asked the two. Are you okay, Anon? She asked with a degree of concern. We asked, but what would you like to order? All right, dinner.
Water time. Anyone from out of town?
Good. Damn, I haven't eaten that good in God knows how long. I've forgotten what the taste of an actual pizza is. I've missed this rich, cheesy heaven. Rosa sat across me enjoying her chicken Alfredo. Well, herbivore chicken Alfredo, which sounds a hell of a lot less appetizing. Stella, on the other hand, had skipped right to dessert and ordered herself a tiramisu, which she's barely touched, although she's been quiet all evening. I think coming to a crowded restaurant might not have been the best decision for her. We all spent dinner catching up with each other. However, it was mainly Rose and I speaking. Stella remained relatively silent. So Anon, I've been meaning to ask you. Rosa directs her attention towards me as she twirls the pasta with her fork. Was there anybody you kept in touch with after, you know? Well, considering how I thought everyone I was close with was dead or hated my guts, keeping in touch didn't seem like a big priority. Not really. Rose and Stella are pretty much the only friends I've had in the last 4 months or so. Aside from you two, I can't say that I have. I answer truthfully as I set my hands and slump on the table. The other friends I made, well, my response causes Rose's expression to sour, followed by a look of slight confusion. But what about Trish and Reed? Didn't you used to spend time with them? Rose inquired as she set her fork down and reached for lemonade. Those two. It's hard to imagine how they feel about me. I can't say I blame them. Their best friend is dead because of me. I'd be surprised if they didn't decide they wanted me a head on a stick. Speaking of which, I'm about 90% it was Trish that tried to make that happen the other day. We weren't on the best of terms, Rosa. We got into a bit of an argument at prom. I sigh as the painful memories return to me. And the things Trish screamed at me when, I'm not sure they want anything to do with me. Rosa looks down slightly, a sympathetic frown growing on her face, clearly upset with the revolution I just dropped. Plus, there was that whole Trish sabotaging the projector during the assembly I had. I know it's hard, but please don't swear at the table and... Rosa said with a stern glare before being cut off with an unexpected voice. They were just mad that you had better taste in waifus than them. What? Both Rose and I look at each other with a surprised look on our face, before turning to Stella, who is sporting an uncharacteristically smug look on her face as she picks off a piece of her tiramisu. Okay, focusing on myself is depressing enough. Let's change the subject. How about you guys? Anybody you kept in touch with from school? I asked them both, trying to diffuse the awkwardness. Stella's expression soured at that question, her face cringed slightly. No, Nice going on. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring it up if it was... I attempt to console the sad Stego. It's okay, but no. Rosa clears her throat as she's about to answer. I did keep in touch with a few amigos of mine, but I'm afraid nobody that you know when you were at school. I guess that makes sense. Even when I did become acquainted with Rose and Stella, I never really got to learn much about them. I wonder if she kept in touch with... What was I thinking about? As my mind begins to struggles to remember my current train of thought, the voices in the restaurants become increasingly loud. All the monotonous and mundane conversations about their lives, school, work, new movies, until I hear more voices that don't sound like they're really part of the restaurant's ambience. What's wrong, Anon? Can't get your fix? Starting to get shaky? Fucking junkie! Imagine surviving both a gunshot and a beating only to die in a restaurant from fucking withdrawal. These voices are alarmingly familiar, not sounding like they belong to one voice, but three different voices overlapping with each other. They're gonna ditch you too! It's only a matter of time! You'll always be nothing but a loser and a waste of space. Your parents didn't want you. Your friends didn't want you. I didn't want you. I can't take this anymore. Shuffling out of the table, I interrupt Stella and Rose's conversation to excuse myself. The voices become so loud, I don't even know if the words came out of my mouth. I get up from the table and go to the bathroom, not before briefly catching the worried expressions of both my friends. My head feels like it's wobbling back and forth as I struggle to maintain balance as I pass by several different diners and tables. I can make out the sign to the bathroom in the corner of the restaurant. I quickly waddle towards the men's room and push the door open. Without a second thought, I make my way towards the sink. Some cold water should knock some sense into me. Turning on the faucet with one hand while using it to support myself, I grab a handful of water and splash on my face. Fuck! I wasn't expecting the water to be that cold. Regardless, the ice-cold water splashing against my face helps calm me down. No, it doesn't. Fuck, what did that one guy in the Austrian blacksmithing forum say? Inhale, count to 4, exhale, count to 4. Taking hold of my right crutch with my free hand, I take a deep breath. 1, 2. Before I can make out the next two numbers, my eyes notice a figure behind me, which causes my heart to stop. A blur of ashen and black. Wings that can only be described as angelic. A set of amber eyes that shine brighter than any diamond. Fang. No. Please, not now. Contrasting the hateful glare that shot me within my dreams a few nights ago, her stare feels cold as ice, while at the same time her facial expression tells a whole different story. Pain, anguish, sorrow, frustration. Unable to move, I can only stare at the simulacrum of the mirror, my eyes growing heavier and heavier. I eventually give in and close my eyes as the tears begin to flow. I'm so sorry, Fang. Unable to move, I can only stare at the simulacrum in the mirror. My eyes... Oh, fuck. The light returns to my eyes and I open them back up. However, all I see in the mirror is my own reflection. Tears streaming on my face after expressing regret as to the figment of my imagination. I need some fresh air. Grabbing hold of my left crutch, I turn around and hobble out the door, but not another figure stops me dead in my tracks. A figure that hasn't haunted me before, but one I'm all too familiar with. A violet triceratops girl of short stature in a yellow hoodie and red boots. Trish. She takes notice of me, mirroring my own shocked expression. What the hell is she doing here? She didn't die? Why the fuck is this happening? She's not real, Anon. It's just your mind playing tricks on you. Get yourself outside and get some air. Moving as quickly by the shade, I shade my former nemesis, but it's not before catching a glance of her turning rage as she mutters to herself, "Fucking bastard. She's not real, Anon. She's not real." Exiting the corridor, my eyes spot the table I was sitting at with my two companions. I'm only able to make out Stella's face since Rose's back is turned to me, but I can't let them be seen like this. Carefully navigating through the restaurant, I do everything I can to avoid being seen by the two. I ask them to get out of here for a second. Same as before, I get stares and funny looks from most of the tables I pass by, judging me, inspecting me, pitying me. Passing by all the tables, I walk straight towards the front door and hit the automated button with my elbow. I don't even wait for the door to open all the way. I walk straight at the entrance as the cool wind blasts my face. The sensation intensified from the cool water I just splashed my face moments ago. I need to take a potty break. I'll be back. Sorry. Potty break time. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about the abruptness of that. Passing straight by the tables, I walk straight towards the front door and hit the automated door with my elbow button. I don't even wait for the door to open all the way. I walk straight at the entrance as the cool wind blasts my face. The sensation intensified from the cold water I just splashed my face moments ago. A group of doves fly out from above the sign and disperse into the night sky. I must have startled them by accident. I take a deep breath and gaze at my surroundings. The streetlights illuminate the street with the absence of sun. Taking notice at the beach next to the restaurant, I take a seat and attempt to collect my thoughts. A sense of relief washes over me as I take pressure off my leg. Or maybe that's just from getting away from the crowded restaurant. Fuck, these hallucinations have really been getting worse and worse. And if I'm not hearing random voices or seeing the ghost of everybody I've hurt, I'm dealing with those fucking nightmares almost every night to the point where it's unbearable. I'd imagine I would have grown desensitized to this by now, considering that all the shooters I've played and gore I've seen online. But to see it before my own eyes, and have it played out in my mind and repeat, day in, day out, it's torture. The only comfort I find is a fistful of pills or drugging myself with enough caffeine to keep me awake for days. Every nightmare, every hallucination reminding me more and more just how badly I fucked up. How much I failed Fang. "Are you okay, Anon?" A gentle yet familiar voice calls out. Turning my head to the source of the voice, I see Stella standing to my right, hands behind her back with a worried expression. "Not really, but I'll survive." I sigh, shifting myself on the bench to make room for her. Stella takes my movement as an invitation to sit down, her concerned expression unchanged. "Are you sure?" "You went to the bathroom in quite a hurry, and I was quite worried something was wrong." Stella continues to question me. However, I notice that this is the least anxious I've seen her yet, at least in person. I may have told Rosa what's going on about me, but I didn't want to have to spill my spaghetti just yet with Stella. Yeah, I needed some fresh air. I try to shrug off her concerns. "How about you? What brings you out here?" My question seemingly catches her off guard. It's clear her main focus is checking up on me for some reason. "I also need to step away for a second," she explains without hesitation. "The restaurant was too crowded and loud, and it was just all too much." I'm about to speak, but it looks like she has more to say, her brow furrowing and exasperation growing. I told Rosa I was worried that it would be too busy tonight, but she just said, 'Oh, it'll be fine, don't worry.'" Her voice growing with frustration as she rants about her friend's decision. I'm tempted to open my mouth and offer what little comfort I can, but it hits me. She's clearly been holding these frustrations for some time. It may be better just to let her vent. After all, there's a time to speak and a time to listen. "I love Rosa like a sister, and I know how much she cares about me, but I wish, just for once, she would listen to me." The green stego lets out an annoyed huff. I wanted to go to this really cool boba place by the mall, but she brushed it off like it was nothing." Now that I think about it, she definitely seems like she hasn't been on a little edge all evening. I just assumed that it was just her being shy as usual. I didn't really think there was more to it. Is Rosa really being that pushy with Stella? I feel like Rosa doesn't listen to what I truly say, just what she would want me to say. The stego slumps back into the bench as she continues to vent her frustrations. Do I say something yet? Before I can think of how to respond, the look on Stella's face becomes quite surprised and turns to shame. "Oh no, I said too much, didn't I? I'm sorry. Rosa's been nothing but nice to me. And I must sound like an ungrateful friend for saying all of that." I don't really know what to make of the situation between the two, and I don't want to find myself in the middle of it, honestly. Although, with the way Stella is looking at me expectantly, as if she's looking to find solace for my assurance, from what she said, it doesn't seem that Stella has any ill will towards Rosa or other than annoyance. "Nah, I get it. You feel like she doesn't listen to what you have to say, and that's pretty understandable. I'd be frustrated too in a situation like that." I reassure the remorseful Stego, her expression softening with my words. Have you thought about talking to her about how you feel? Her face goes white as a sheet. Fuck, did I say something wrong? I can't. It would be... I just don't want her to be upset, is what I'm trying to say. She's the only friend I have left ever since... Stella abruptly cuts herself off with an expression that looks like she's been stabbed in the gut. She's pretty much one of my only friends aside from you. I'm glad to know I'm not alone here. But, hey, I wanted to ask... Shit, she doesn't know, does she? Fuck, did Rosa tell her? If you want to come with me to that boba shop by the mall tomorrow... Oh! Wait. She asking me out? It's okay if you don't want to come on. I'm sorry. Stella turns away, seemingly dejected from my lack of response. Unless I was mumbling again, like a retard. Damn! I didn't mean it like that. I was just caught off guard. Why would anybody want to spend more time with me? Alone, nonetheless. Wait, Stella! I cried as I rushed from the bench, my injury making it difficult to do so. My words caused her to turn back at me, her eyes widened slightly. Sorry, it's just I've been dealing with a lot of shit right now. That's... Fucking on, you can do better than that. What I'm saying is, I would love to check that place out with you. I stammer out, hoping I can recover this. Stella's face does a 180 as she looks the absolute happiest I've seen in a while since we were both at high school. Really? Thank you, Anon. I'm so happy that you'd want to come, too. Stella chirps with glee that's reminiscent of her own old personality. Before I can open my mouth, I'm suddenly hit with a blast of pressure, my mind taking a second to register Stella pulling me into a rather tight hug. Shocked by this reaction, all I can do is simply wrap my own arms around her rather awkwardly. Oh! Stella snaps back to reality, pulling away from me. We should probably head back inside. Rosa's probably worried about us by now. She's right. Especially considering how I left the table. I do feel kind of bad for leaving alone at the table. Hopefully she's not too pissed. Oh, I'm sure she'll understand. Stella responds to my inner thoughts as she rises from the bench, offering her hand toward me. I may be a cripple, but I'm not that crippled. Still, I reach out for a hand as she helps me up from the bench. If it's okay with you, let's probably not tell Rose about our plans tomorrow, Stella says with a slight whisper as we both walk to the restaurant. Probably for the best, I reply. A part of me is surprised that Stella wants to hang out with such a weird schizo like me, or why she hugged me like that. I wonder, is she asking me out on a date? A couple of minutes earlier, leaning against the ball, I try to collect my thoughts, or what's less of them as I wait for my boss, or if I can even hear my own thoughts. The goddamn chatter of the place makes it so impossible to do so. Seriously, what the fuck's taking this fossil so long? The way he talked to me on the phone made it sound like it was urgent, but considering how he's nowhere to be in sight, it makes me feel like he's just wasting my time. Not to mention my added concerns about leaving Reed in the apartment alone while he's high as a kite. I really hope what Mo has for me is worth it. Amidst the chaos of the restaurant, the first thing that coherently comes to my mind is my family. 3 sisters and 2 brothers, all alone at home, since Mom was doing God knows what these days. To this day, I still hate myself for everything that went down that day. Get the fuck out! Don't ever come back here, bitch-ass Trigger! I don't blame them for one moment. They have every right to hate me after what I did. Lord knows I do. Since Mo's probably not going to pull the thumb out of his ass and come get me, I'm going to go to the bathroom and freshen up a bit while I wait. I take 2 steps towards the restroom before the door to the men's room swings open. And emerging from the door anxiously is... Wait, Anon? Ugly bald human, puke green clothes, crutch under each shoulder, and a plastic leg brace on his left leg. It's definitely him. I can only stare in disbelief, unable to move, like my feet have been bolted to the ground and my arms tied down with cinder blocks. How the fuck is he still moving? He should be in a coma after what I did to him. Just the sight of him still moving, alive, breathing, it fills me with a feeling that can only be described as raw and primal. Pure, unfiltered rage. Because I can react, he wobbles past me as if I didn't exist. But I manage to catch him mumbling something on the way. She's not real, Anon, just your mind playing tricks on. Fang did say that he mumbled shit out loud like a dumbass. Just thinking Fang and Anon in the same sentence infuriates me. Fucking bastard, I mutter in my breath. I pause for a moment as I look out the hallway, seeing him waddle through the restaurant. A thought occurs to me. I could kill him right now. wait for him to go outside, wait till he's all alone, and finally put that bastard in the ground. Fuck it, I've waited long enough. Before I'm able to follow him, something takes hold of my hand, stopping me in my tracks. I turn to see a rather imposing Triceratops man in uniform gripping me by the hand tightly.
Mo's ready to see you now.
Letting go as he finished his sentence, I turn back to the area and see Anon nowhere in sight. He's completely gone. God fucking damn it! If it weren't for this fucking trigger, I would have been able to put this ape down once and for all. If it weren't for Mo... I stomp my way towards the office of my dipshit boss with furious intent, brushing off the waiter who restrained me seconds ago, flinging the doors open. I'm greeted with Mo's disheveled clusterfuck of an office. I spot him sitting down at his desk, about to pour himself a glass of bourbon. Hey, Trish, how you doing? The jolly Tyrannosaurus bellows from his chair. Thank God it's Friday, eh? Cut the shit, Mo. I interrupt his greeting, dripping with anger, words like venom. You had Anon here, in your restaurant, and you did nothing? My words have clearly taken Mo back as he just gives me a wide-eyed blink a couple times before speaking. Huh? Anon? Mo clarifies as the cogs in his mostly empty skull turn as he tries to comprehend my head. Yes! Are you deaf? He was just in here. Mo gazes at the ceiling in contemplation while letting out a sigh, and then looks down at me a couple seconds later. Damn, I guess today's really busy, huh? Mo lets out a shrug with diminutive arms. Anyway, you ready for that job I was telling you about? Did this senior-old fossil hear a word I just said? Anon is here, the skinny who ruined everything. Ruined Worm Drama, ruined my school, and killed Fang, my... Did you not hear me? My voice lets out a low growl, barely concealing the rage that leaks from it. Anon is sitting in your fucking restaurant after everything is done, and all you have to say is it's a busy day? Mo pinches the bridge of his snout, or at least attempts to. Then lets out another sigh. Look, Trish, everyone's allowed in my restaurant, so long as I don't mess with business or just anyone trying to have a meal. Mo's looking down with a stern look, as if I'm the one fucking wrong here. I was hoping we could talk about that security job I was telling you about, since little Tro's been ass over tits lately. The Tyrannosaurus begins rambling in his typical New York accent. I can't believe this. He doesn't give a shit at all. Wasn't Fang like a niece to him? That was talked about how cool of an uncle he was, and how because of him our band was able to get a first live audience. But now he just wants to ignore everything that happens, and let that fucking monkey who killed Fang walk off scot-free. I'm going to kill him, Mo. Just say the word. Mo retorts by rolling his eyes, letting his arms fall limp by his desk, making a small thud sound. Trish, in the middle of my restaurant? Out in the open? Don't be stupid. What fucking right does he have? You're the one who sent me after him, remember? I point a finger at him while my voice raises in volume. You sent me to kill him. Why not let me finish him? You wanted him dead. I wanted Ripley off my fucking back. Ripley? Thanks, Dad. Mo falls silent, but the stare he pierces me with says it all. Don't be a fool, Trish. Be the bigger person. Quit your yapping. As if I haven't heard that shit from other people constantly. Why, I choke out, my voice barely containing my anger. Why are you so against it? He killed Fang, remember? No, he didn't, Trish. Lucy got herself killed. My fist clenches in response, not knowing to be madder at him dead-naming Fang, or the fact that he just said Fang killed themselves. I met the kid, remember? I told him to be supportive to Lucy. Clearly he wasn't. The defeated Tyrannosaurus shrugged. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's a stupid fucking kid. And he made a horrible, horrible mistake. But you can't deny he must be hurting too. Just as much as you. He's hurting? He's hurting? After all the times he ignored them. After all the times he misgendered them. How he fucked us up over the concert. How the fuck is he hurting, Mo? Because, Trish, he loved her. I know he did. The rage inside me reaches a boiling point. I can't take this anymore. So did I, asshole! I shouted at him, depriving my lungs of air. My words pierced Mo's stoic presence, switching to a look of stunned silence. I loved Fang, Mo. I struggled to speak, from being out of breath and overwhelming emotion. I loved them ever since 9th grade. I loved their smile, their talents, their eyes. I wanted to tell them the longest time how I felt about them, but I was scared. Someone scared someone as beautiful as them wouldn't think the same of me. Mo remains silent, but he reaches for a glass of bourbon on his desk and takes a slow sip. Right when I worked up the courage to finally confess how I feel and ask them out, an on fucking shows up out of nowhere and ruins everything. The band, Fang, everything. Mo sets his glass down as he pushes himself away from the desk, looking at the ground with contemplation. That's why I'm gonna kill him, whether you like it or not, Mo. I lean over, placing my hands on his desk. No, you're not, Mo replies as he rises from the chair, towering over me. You know, you're not even doing the dirtiest jobs around here. I don't think you want the ones who do the paying you a visit. You feel me? Mo growls at me. His piercing glare doesn't faze me at all. There's no reasoning with this pussy. Fang would be ashamed that they even called him an uncle. You know what? Screw you, Mo. I'm done. I turn away from him, stomping towards the door, and place my hand on the handle. Before I can turn the handle, he calls out, Trish, wait. Why, asshole? Didn't you want me to leave? I huff out without even giving him a glance. This isn't what Lucy would have wanted. So I should just forget everything, pretend it never happened, like Fang never existed, and just let that skinny piece of shit live happily ever after? You don't know a fucking thing about what Fang would have wanted. I fling the door open as my ear holes fill the ambience of the restaurant, drowning out whatever else Mo had to say, if he even has anything left to say. Walking down the hall of the lively restaurant, I take notice of the emergency exit being left open by a brick, allowing anyone to enter and exit without triggering the alarm. Wonderful. I don't feel like going at the main entrance and looking at any of the pompous fucks in the eye. Pushing open the door, I'm hit with a rather chilling breeze, as if November winds is sweeping me into the night. I find myself in the alleyway beside Mo's. Garbage bags scattered all around me, rats picking at the remains in search of scraps. If this geezer could pay me to do jobs for him, why is buying a dumpster out of the question? Whatever. I don't think I'm going to find that ape here anytime soon, so I'll probably just go home, assuming Reed hasn't burnt our apartment down. Exiting the alleyway, I enter the streets and check out over the night. However, a pair of familiar voices pulls me from my stupor. Have you thought about how talking to her would make you feel? I can't. It would be, I just don't want her to make her upset, is what I'm trying to say. She's the only friend I've had ever since. I guess he didn't leave at all. I quickly turn away and get some distance between me and the voices, taking cover behind the corner I emerged from just moments ago. My eyes finally spot Anon on the bench talking with Stella? That weird stego bitch from high school? She always was a fucking loser back then, so I can't say I'm surprised to see them together. I still remember that presentation she did about anime in sophomore year, and how most of the class got detention for laughing at her to the point where she left the room in tears. If you can't handle it, why act like a weirdo in the first place? My thoughts are interrupted when I see Stella get up from the bench, turning away from Anon. Not before this crippled monkey man rises up and starts saying something that causes her to turn around and wait. She's fucking hugging him? Ew, why? Not trying to give myself away, I have to mentally fight the urge to gag at what I just saw. Wait, did he just ask her out? What was previously discussed quickly turned to anger, spreading through my body like an inferno. Was one fucking person not enough for him to ruin? Still, it's not like there's really much left to ruin someone like Stella. But the two seem close. I'm assuming they're close with Rosa too, since she was with both of them when she stopped me. Fucking bitch. I'll have to keep an eye on her. And Rosa. Since Mo's useless to me now, those two should lead me to him. I'm coming for you, Skinny. 40 minutes later on Skin Row. God damn, I can't remember the last time I ate that well. Real food for a change too, not what passes for food in the freezer section at the dollar store. At this point, I'm tempted to give Rosa a gift basket. Although I think I see what Stella was talking about. When she and I returned to the table, Rosa was not the most thrilled about it. Donde Esteban? You left me at the table in a trance without a word? Not to mention how long you were gone. Something could have happened to you again. Although, to be honest, I'm not exactly proud of what happened. And I can't exactly imagine it would put anyone's mind at ease to see their crippled friend waddle to the bathroom while mumbling to himself like a schizo. I guess I can kind of see where Rosa was coming from. Anon, you okay? The sound of Rosa's call snapping me back to my senses. I find myself standing in the elevator, with Rosa and Stella waiting for me outside the door. Yeah, sorry. I reply as I quickly move out of the way of the contraption before the door closes on me. Rosa lets out a chuckle. It places a hand on my shoulder. It was great seeing you again, Anon. I'm hoping we can find time to meet up again soon. Yeah, sure, I'll be down for that again. I answer with a slight smile forms on my lips. Hey, Rosa, would it be okay if I had a moment alone with Anon? Hearing Stella's request, the anklosaur turns her head with a surprised expression painted across her face, with hints of hesitation. However, the smile returns to her face as she glances my way. Por sospetto, Stella. I'll just be in the lobby waiting for you, if that's okay. Rosa affirms, following the nod of Stella's head, prompting her to walk towards the stairwell. Buenos noches, Anon. It was great seeing you again. The two of us wait as the footsteps grow quieter until it's followed by the sound of a door opening and closing. So what's the plan? I turn towards my Stegosaurus companion. Stella places a hand under her chin. Or lower beak? In contemplation, the gears turning in her head. I was thinking maybe we could meet there around 1. Does that work for you? 1 in the afternoon or 1 in the morning? Stella responds to what I assumed was an inner thought with a deadpan look while stifling back a giggle. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. 1 sounds great. I attempt to brush off my own tardiness. By the way, what's this boba place called again? Oh, it's called Bubbly. Was she telling me the name of the spot or a dad joke? Although judging from her enthusiasm, I guess it's the latter. Awesome, I'm looking forward to checking it out. I've never had boba before. My expression causes Stella's eyes to widen in shock. What? You've never tried it? Well, tomorrow we're changing that. Stella strongly affirms, bereft of the anxiety that plagued her earlier tonight. But anyway, I've probably kept Rosa waiting long enough. I'm gonna meet her downstairs, but I'll see you tomorrow, Anon, said Stella as she presents me with a warm smile before turning towards the elevator. Walking towards the elevator, pressing the down-facing button, the door opens before the cheerful Stego almost immediately due to our previous use. After entering the elevator, Stella turns around to face me and flashes a peace sign. Bye, Anon, Stella says her goodbyes as the blush on her face grows into a mixture of pink and green. I reply to her with a wave and a smile as the door closes and separates us both, leaving me alone in the halls of my derelict apartment. Walking back to my room in deafening silence, I begin to fixate on what I just got myself into. I'm meeting with Stella tomorrow, a girl that I'm friends with, for some boba, alone. My mind focuses on nothing but what I just agreed to. There's a big part of me that's nervous since the last time I hung out one-on-one with someone was when I was with Fang. Standing frozen outside my door, the gut-wrenching memory hits me like a train, reminiscing of the time we spent together, both inside and outside of school. We found a piece of ourselves in each other, and all the time we could spend together if I had been a better person. Fuck, not now. I insert my key into the doorknob, trying to fixate on the inner workings of the contraption in an attempt to distract myself from my own thoughts. My hand moves the bronze-colored device as it merges with the inner workings of the door. You took my friends away from me. You ruined our band. No. I turn the key as it responds with rhythmic clinking, allowing me to open the door and create the side of my shitty room. That would be too much of an honor for you. Shut up! Entering my apartment complex, I immediately close and lock the door, and kick off my shoes as I hobble towards the bed almost instinctively, directed by growing exhaustion, and how I ate enough pizza to put me in a diabetic coma. With better judgment, I would avoid going to sleep again and try to find ways to keep myself occupied, but this wasn't one of those times. Setting down my crutches while trying to balance on one foot, I flop on the bed and begin to rest my eyes. It's funny to think that Rose's couch is comfier than my bed, but I guess it beats having no bed at all. Within minutes, I feel myself drift into sleep, along with the blur of emotions plaguing my mind, just for the general fear I have about my financial situation, worrying about how much longer I can stay in this place by relying on government handouts, and of course, the guilt that still haunts me every waking moment with how I feel I handled things with Fang, how I could have handled things, and yet buried under all that bullshit, there's a part of me that's excited to see Stella tomorrow. There's a lot I don't know about her other than that she kind of likes anime. And of course, the whole tarot reading thing with her. And judging from her blush in the elevator, I guess she's excited too. But there's one thing I don't know. Is she just asking me to hang out, or is this a date? Does she? Do I? What the fuck? I shoot up from my bed. Startled by the sudden bang noise that woke me up. Scanning my room, everything seems to be in place. Nothing missing or broken from the shitty apartment. Did I really mean anything to you at all, Anon? A feminine voice calls from my left. That voice. No. I turn to investigate the intruder, and my suspicions are confirmed when I see none other than Fang sitting in my desk chair, leering at me with scorn, her eyes full of disgust. Fang, Shut up. Shut the fuck up, dweeb. I've already had enough of your bullshit when I was alive. Fang brushes me off with her hand as the scowl on her face grows. Not to mention how much you let me suffer, or how you couldn't even save me. I rise from my bed, positioning myself closer to the specter of my former girlfriend. No, Fang, I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I fucked everything up. I'm so sorry. Fang's eyes glow in anger in response to my apology. Don't give me that bullshit. I know for a fact you're not sorry. Fang growls as she rises from the desk chair, looming over me. You were concerned over your precious Xbox controller than you were about me after I had the worst night of my life, remember? She's right. I was selfish, apathetic, and worst of all, a coward. And I still am those things. No shit, Anon! A new voice emerges from my sight. To my right. I see Naomi, standing in the hallway of the kitchen, staring at me with the aura of hate that rivals Fang's. The fact that you're moving on so quickly after meeting with Rose and Stella just proves how little you gave a fuck about Fang. Naomi stomps her foot as she glows red with anger. You really making new friends will absolve your friend? Will absolve you of your sins? Fang responds with a chuckle as her scowl turns to a rather sadistic-looking sneer. For once I agree with this cunt. Soon you're gonna go on a date with one of them tomorrow. Tell me, Anon. Are you gonna treat Stella as horribly as you treated me? No, fuck, this is all too much. This is a date, isn't it? Wow, I always knew you were a fucking loser, but I didn't think it was this bad. Oh, wait. Wow, I always thought you were a fucking loser, but I didn't think it was this bad. A new voice enters the room, this one sounding far more masculine. I look back at the hallway and see Nazer moving past Naomi with a smug look. This skinny lives in his own filth like a pig. Why am I not surprised? Nazer chuckles as he gazes around the room with his judging eyes. He lives in his own garbage. He treats people like garbage. And what do you know? He's garbage himself. Fang chimes in on her brother's taunting. Shut the fuck up. What? They would never say this. How would they? Were you planning on taking Stella away from her friends and family so you could ruin her life too? Why couldn't you just stay in rock bottom? No matter how much you pretend, you'll always be a piece of shit. I should have just left you to rot all alone. I made a mistake aiming for your leg. I should have aimed for your stomach. The voices began rapidly overlapping each other, making it increasingly difficult to tell which words were coming out of the mouths of which of my tormentors, as they continued to taunt me, berate me, shame me. It's gotten to the point where their jeers have become incomprehensible, sounding more like white noise rather than actual words, all before completely devolving into laughter. Despite any lack of coherent speech, their presence still stabs my heart all the time. Their taunts overwhelm my mind like a storm, breaking out the already thought of emotions inside until I notice Nazer's chest begins to ooze a dark crimson, progressively staining his jacket. No, fuck! No, not again! Nami's head begins to pour with blood, adding new streaks of red to her naturally peach-colored hair. I can feel my heart drop and my face turning white as I see my former friends turn to corpses before my eyes as their laughter grows, alarmingly deranged. And just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, I turn back to my desk chair and see Fang. Oh my god. The feathers begin to drop off her wings like flies, to the point where her wings are completely bare, her otherwise monochrome appearance now paired with a new shade of pink. Out of all the voices, Fang's laughter unsettles me the most. A flurry of emotions evident from her facial expression, sadism, hate, grief, rage. The sight of it terrorizes me and breaks my heart at the same time. However, what I saw next struck more fear into my heart. As my former girlfriend's laughter became more frenzied, the more damaged her appearance became. Bruises began to grow on her body almost instantly, her scales becoming more and more discolored, until I noticed her amber eyes of hers. Her amber eyes leaked tears of blood. The grotesque sight of it causes me to hyperventilate frantically as I watch my friends around me turn to corpses, puppeteered by my own hysteria. Every urge in my body is telling me to hide. But I don't deserve to hide. I did this to them. They have every right to punish me. No. I snapped out of my shell shock as I noticed Fang raised her claw as she rose with anger. That would be too much of an honor for you. Fang screeched at me with immense fury before striking me across the face. Instinctually, I closed my eyes, but nothing happens. I opened the eyes to see the bodies of my former friends nowhere to be found. Scanning across the apartment, I frantically as I rise from the bed. I begin to shudder with horror as I recall what happened just moments ago. My horror quickly bubbles into anger, but not at the situation or the revenants that haunt my dreams. I'm angry at myself. I fucked up everything. I begin to fall back into my bed as I pant with an uncontrollable fury. Fuck! I cry out in anger, slamming my fist against my mattress. Am I doomed to be nothing more than this? Pathetic, uncaring, horrible person? And what if they're right? What if I hurt Stella and Rose the way I hurt them? I can't let that happen again. Alright, is everybody enjoying it so far? Is this a good one? Is this one gonna do numbers like the last one? Is this one doing numbers? Fuck yeah. Yeah, no, I'm gonna make a very nice supercut of all 12 chapters just to be convenient in case anybody wants my shitty ASMR. I'm gonna tell you what I did today at work. You know, manhole covers, how you can't see the tank that goes on them? Well, how they raise the fucking lid off the tank, they don't just dig a hole and pour it. They're ring, like they're solid concrete rings that have to be preformed, and then you have to put them in place. And concrete per square inch is kind of heavy. Like, let me look that up in the extra tab. So concrete weighs about 18 pounds per square foot. The things I was lifting on my own got up to the size, I want to say about 5 square foot, or 5 cubic feet for normal. It's, oh, hold on. Here's a 9-inch. That's probably comparable to. Oh, I was probably lifting fucking 90 pounds of my own. Just improperly, because it's a really awkward shape. It might have been more, probably more. But a 9-inch slab of concrete weighs 112.5 pounds per square foot. I was working with something that was like a ring that was about 8 inches thick, and the width of each side of the ring was probably 6 inches. So yeah, a foot. But then you clap. No, it's probably fucking 170 pounds doing the math. So anyway, my back is really sore from that. That's what I was up to today. Now let's get right back into that fic. This has been your scheduled yap. Yeah, I'm gonna do this work till I die, Iggy. I gotta get that pension, you know? It was great to see. Yeah, let's get into it. Chapter the fourth. Maybe it's a dream. It was great to see you today. I just want to say, it really meant a lot that you came here with me. Thank you. Still's words at the end of our hangout last week echoed through my mind as I wait for her arrival. Last Saturday at the Bubbly went pretty well. I was expecting it to be challenging without Rose around, since she knows how to soothe her whenever she feels anxious. But I was surprised to see her relatively calm throughout the meeting. Dare I say, outgoing even? Maybe it's the autistic part of me, but from how the sheepish Stego invited me to go out for bubble tea, Stella made it sound less mundane. I'm gonna get the strawberry flavor, but since it's your first time, you should get chocolate. You won't be disappointed. Well, at least she didn't suggest the banana flavor, but she wasn't wrong at all. I wasn't disappointed. Our time together was fairly tame. Our conversations mainly ranged from typical topic of anime, art, video games, and of course the discussion we had about the joys of boba. Although I noticed when we were sitting down how her body language contrasted the other times I've seen her. Rather than being skittish and reserved, she seemed rather warm, inviting, and nervous. But not of the same nervousness that she displayed when anxious. It's almost as like she was nervous in anticipation, which would explain how she was blushing. And I would be lying if I said I wasn't blushing too. Before heading out, we decided to plan another get-together. She suggested the Volcadera shopping center. Surprised me considering how she doesn't seem to do well in crowds. But I wasn't about to say no. In fact, I was looking forward to it. The sudden flutter of wings and a cacophony of cooing above my head snaps me back from my flashbacks as I remember where I was, sitting on a bench outside of the mall, crutches by my side as I feel the cool, breezy wind of autumn's end, reminding me that the cold will always find me, no matter how far I go. Granted, it's not as brutal as Rock Bottom's weather, where it would begin to snow in October. Thankfully, I don't think Volcadera has seen snowfall since 2015. Here I am, sitting all alone on the bench, outside of a mostly deserted mall on Thursday afternoon. If it weren't for the broken leg, I'd imagine most people think I'm a serial killer or pedophile, and if it were a shittier mall. Thankfully, Volcadera Shopping Center seems to be one of the nicer ones in this golden turd of a town. Not that I would be knowledgeable about this area. This is the second time I've been to a mall since moving here. I didn't want to plan our outing at the other mall for obvious reasons. My one good leg began to bounce rather impatiently, almost as if it was a reflex. What originally started as a 10-minute wait suddenly began to feel like an hour. Should I text her and ask if everything's alright? She did seem pretty eager at the idea of checking out this mall after our hangout last week. In a way, I'm looking forward to this too. I need a way to distract myself with the withdrawal that's been fucking me over the past couple days. Although that's not all I'm just looking forward to seeing Stella again. Both that weeby little Stego and Rosa brought back a certain light to my life I thought was long gone. It's hard to describe, but with them I felt human. Hey, what's up, bro? A slurred masculine voice calls out to my left. Fuck. I feel myself freeze with fear as my brain recognizes whose voice that belongs to. I slowly turn my head towards the greeter. My eyes see the pink raptor stumbling towards me my way. His typical red tank top replaced with the torn, stained green hoodie, a thermos in his hand, and a duffel bag strapped across his back. Reed? I stammer. Yo! My former friend slurs as he walks towards me, clearly struggling to maintain his balance. Fuck, is he even real? Why is he here? Neither Trish nor he died in the shooting? Why the fuck are they here? My inner monologue interrupted me as I'm hit with a surprise and his facial expression becomes more visible. He's smiling. Fang! How have you been, bro? It's been ages. What? Thousands of words scramble through my brain as I try to wrap my head around what Reed just said. Reed looks at me with anticipation and bloodshot eyes and a droopy facial expression, waiting for a response as he can stand in front of me. He thinks I'm Fang? How much Carfe is he on right now? Reed, it's me, Anon. Fang? I weakly managed to choke up before I get cut off by him. Dude, who's Alan? Did Trish put you up to this? The raptor brushes me off with a gesture of his hand. Bro, I swear this wasn't the way to Mr. Carl Dusky's class. I was supposed to meet Fang and drop off those guitar strings she needed. What the fuck was he even talking about? Nothing he says is making any sense. He always did seem a bit loopy before, but I've never seen him in this state before. Fang's dead, Reed. I struggle to maintain my composure, and my voice is from pure shock and confusion. She died months ago. You know this. Now I'm on the giving end of, as I watch the wheels in Reed's brain struggle to turn as he deciphers my words. No, Nazer, my bro. I literally just saw Fang. He shoots me a confused look, or at least tries to as he begins to twist off the thermos lid, lifting the container up to his temp, begins to pour the contents down his throat. I'm gonna make a lucky guess and say that's not coffee in there. The seconds of silence return as I stare at Reed dumbfounded as he begins to chug whatever the hell is in the thermos like it's water. Hey, Reed, what's in that thermos? I inquire with a mixture of curiosity and concern. It's Carfay, bro, but like Carfayzilla dialed up to 11 while doing a handstand atop the Eiffel Tower. Plus, I mixed it with some of the harder stuff, if you catch my meaning. Raptor Jesus, how is he even alive? Any normal person would have died from that amount of drugs. Come to think of it, I've never seen him this high before, or drink his Carfay that fervently. Did he start doing this because of Fang? Because of me? Okay, what have you been up to since graduating? I ask my old friend, trying to change the subject as I stumble over my words in the process. The ruddy raptor's right arm falls limp as he regains his breath, nearly dropping the container. Well, man, I started my own beeswax, and it's really blown up in the past couple months. Plus, I'm pretty much the richest raptor ever now. The slurring in Reed's voice becoming more and more pronounced. Plus, I've invested in a ton of Stooncoin, so Vive Room Drum can finally get the green we need to really start us up. What the hell have you done to yourself, Reed? I have to go. I'm sorry, Reed. My brain scrambles as I continue to come up with an excuse to get out of here. I've got a go to the job interview. Reed shrugs in response with barely open eyes. It's all good, broski. I'll see you later, Trish. Let me know if you can tell Naomi or that Rosa still owes me that 20 krona from the other day. I'm so fucking sorry, Reed. I awkwardly wave him goodbye as the spaced-out raptor crumbles against the ground as he matches my hand-waving, albeit paired with a lazy smile. Let's go inside. I just need to step away from here, hobbling myself towards the mall entrance. My mind fully begins to process just what I saw. Reed is still around, but rather than wanting me dead or hitting my guts, he's completely destroyed his mind with those fucking drugs he's taking. I can't say that I blame him. How else could he cope with the loss of something that horrific? Hell, I shouldn't be one to judge, considering how much I've been popping Adderall like candies, not to mention how cough syrup I've drunk because I can't buy booze, but mix it with some Stoca-Cola or 11-Up, and it works all the same. It's not like I can get either of those since pharmacies fucking hate me right now. Pushing the door open, I'm hit with a chance of the change of temperatures as I finally enter the building. In front of me stands a water fountain. The spray of the water directs inwards, forming a circle of aqua. 2 floors each, lined with various stores and other outlets, nothing of which are particularly busy, making sense since it's a Thursday afternoon. Hence why the halls aren't littered with screaming children. Although, I wish I could say the same about crying children. Hearing the wail from my right, a part of me is compelled to investigate the sound of the noise due to its odd familiarity. Walking around the corner, I see a girl in a white hoodie crumpled against the window, her face buried in her arms as she continues to cry. The only distinguishing feature is being a lime green tail adorned with plates? Wait. Stella, is that you? The hooded girl lifts her head towards me, confirming my suspicions. I'm sorry. Stella gazes at me with puffy eyes with absolute remorse. Why is she apologizing? She didn't do anything wrong to me. I'm more curious as to why she's crying, seeing her this distraught. All alone, as the sadness in her eyes wells up, I feel a tightening around my heart, an uneasy feeling spreading across my body like a wave. It pains me to see her like this. How did Rosa handle this again? Hey, you don't have to apologize at all. I positioned myself against the windowsill, trying to sit down without causing any further pain to my leg. It's gonna be all okay. Do you want to talk or something about what's wrong? Rosa replies with a sniffle followed by a shuddered breath. I tried taking the bus to get here, since I was worried that my parents wouldn't let me come alone. And when I got here, I couldn't find you, and it was too loud, and The dam breaks before she's able to let out another word. She buries her face back in her arms and begins crying. I have no idea what to do here. I reach out and take hold of her hand. Isn't that how people comfort each other when they're sad? As soon as my hand touches her scales, her shuddering and crying stops. Fuck! Abort! DEFCON. I fear I've made things awkward by touching out, so I pull my hand back before I can. Stella quickly takes hold of my hand. I'm sorry. She quickly squeezes my hand as she continues to face me. Ignoring the growing surprise on my face, I can handle it now. It's good to see you, Anon. Task failed successfully? It's good to see you too, Stella. I nearly fumble with my words as Stella pulls herself off the ground, forcing me to put all my weight onto my one good leg. So, did you want to check out some of the stuff in the mall? Stella remains silent. To my question, she turns away, holding her hands out in front of her. Shit, was that insensitive to ask? God, why am I such a fucking idiot? Why do I have to fuck so many things up to the point where the only good things I have left are... Yeah, I'd like that very much, Anon. Oh, okay. Sounds good. What do you have in mind? I eagerly ask. Stella turns to me and rubs the bottom of her snout with her hand, her brow above her puffy eyes still furrowing. There's a bunch of really neat stores this mall has. Would it be okay if we checked out the Hot Tropic first? Hot Tropic? Wasn't that the store just for goth kids and vampire wannabes? They actually have a lot of cool anime stuff too. I think it would be fun. Jesus Christ, Anon. Real smooth. Yeah, let's check it out, I nod to her agreeably. Wait, where is it? Oh, it should be on the second floor by Game Rock. I want to check that place out too. Stella eagerly exclaims, with the stress of her fear plagued by her moments ago nowhere to be found. Is it just me, or does she switch demeanors a little too quickly? Let's worry about it later. Sounds good. I give her a thumbs up as my arms lean on my crutch. Without a word, Stella enthusiastically beckons me into the mall's elevator, taking note of my current predicament. The two of us make our way towards the lift, passing by a handful of people, all dinos of course. I guess it's smart we came this time of day when the kids are still in class right now. I imagine I'd be dealing with a lot more right now if we came a couple hours later. As we reach the elevator, Stella presses the button, and the doors open almost immediately. The Stego turns to me with a sweet smile as she held the door open, allowing me to enter. I mean, I know most elevator doors have sensors so they don't close on people and crush them, but I still can't help but smile at the gesture. As we both enter the elevator, Stella presses the button labeled 2 on the control panel. As the doors close, I catch a glance of a figure leaning against the corner staring at me. Yellow hoodie mixed with black track pants, purple skin, eyes full of contempt, presence I'm too familiar with. Fuck, not again. Is she real this time? If Reed was really here, then does that mean she's really here too? No, she was at Moe's last week and nothing happened. It's just your mind fucking with you again. Are you okay? The touch of Stella's hand on my shoulder stops me out of my shock. She doesn't need to know we're here schizo and on. She was already scared enough as is. She'd probably leave the first chance you get if he tells her. Oh, sorry, I just get claustrophobic in elevators. I'm fine. I face the concerned Stego as I express my lie with nonchalance. Oh, okay. She replies rather awkwardly, her voice hinting at concern. She didn't need to know about the hallucinations or the drugs. next half an hour passes by rather quickly, with Stella and I visiting the shops the mall had to offer. Each shop became more excited than the last for the sweet stego, as her eyes wandered to the various merchandise that caught her attention. However, I can't say the same for me, since most of the outlets seem dull in terms of their selection. Most of the anime merch comes from typical normie shonen trash like Sword Art Online, Attack on Titan, and worst of all, My Hero Academia. And Game Rock at this point is more just a retail outlet for Dunko Pops, and that just so happens to sell games, along with some other stores that we visited along the way, like Sunset Records, Sponsored Gifts, or our current destination, Cineroll. Water. Both of us were feeling a bit hungry, so we decided to stop and enjoy some diabetes-inducing goodness. Plus, these iced cinnamon buns should help to wash the taste of shitty consumers' crap out of my mouth. Although, as indifferent as I am to the shops we visited, it doesn't matter if they were good to me or not. I found myself just as happy to be with Stella, seeing her bubbly and cheerful demeanor resurface after being pushed away for so long. It's almost infectious, filling me with a warmth that melted the ice around my heart. Her smile, her eyes, her beautiful verdant hair. I don't think I deserve to be here with her, not after the way I treated her back in high school. I snap out of my stupor as I waddle myself over to the cashier with Stella and by my side as I prepare to order. Hi there. Welcome to Cineroll. How can I take your order today? A tan Triceratops girl in teal uniform asks with a gleeful demeanor. I give her my order, a regular-sized cinnamon roll and a vanilla iced coffee, while Stella orders herself the same thing, but with a double chocolate frappe. How she's able to eat crap like this a lot and not be fat, unless it's all going to her... Jesus Christ, Non, keep it in your pants. The two of us leave the shop as I carry the bag with our food in my free hand, trying to maintain control of not trying to drop it or fall down. Oh, there's a nice spot. Let's sit over by the fountain. Stella directs me towards the water fountain right at the store's entrance. The fountain in question looked more like a large tub than the artificial cascade that laid out from the front entrance. Setting the bag on the makeshift bench, I slowly lower myself down as Stella places her drink down while handing me mine. So, have you been to a Cineroll before, Bonan? Stella asks with a hint of awkwardness as she wraps up her drink and unwraps the straw for her drink. I think I did once. It was a couple of years ago. My parents and I were visiting my grandparents for Christmas, and we stopped at the mall on the way there because we forgot to pick up a Christmas present for my uncle or something like that. I stabbed the lid of the ice-cold cup as I recall my past. My dad gave me $5 and told me to meet him back at the car in 15 minutes. Giving myself a brief pause, I take a sip of my coffee as I feel a cold mixture of coffee, cream, and vanilla trickle down my throat. God damn, that's good! I wonder if I can make this with a shitty instant coffee at home. And the mall we stopped at had it, and we decided to give it a try. I explain as I set my drink down. Best $5 I ever spent. I know, right? It's so good. Just everything about it. The drinks, the snacks, and especially cinnamon rolls. The smiling Stego beamed with enthusiasm as she reaches into the bag, pulling out 2 cardboard containers and setting them down. Especially the glaze you put on them. It's better than the first time you saw your favorite anime. Not exactly how I'd phrase it, but I can't argue with that. Not wanting to wait any longer. Both Stella and I pick up our boxes, prompting me to open mine. My nostrils are invaded with the smell of cinnamon, cream, and freshly baked dough. The scent is seducing my senses, calling me to treat my taste buds. Why the fuck am I overthinking this deceptively... Why am I thinking this descriptively over a cinnamon roll? Not wasting a second longer, I pick up the pastry and take a moderately sized bite out of it. Raptor Jesus. Now I understand why diabetes has become one of the big issues in this country. Absolutely worth it. Oh, and on! You know what? You do know they give us plastic knives and forks, right? Stella interrupts me for my ecstasy. Aren't you supposed to eat it with your hands like a donut? I look down at where the containers are and I see an unopened set of plastic utensils. Oh. I hear a sound of my steak companion attempting to stifle back a giggle as she watches me make an ass out of myself. But I notice the blush on her face, and she smiles as she unwraps her plastic utensils. You're so silly and all. I'll take it. I've been called worse things. I shoot her a playfully sarcastic look as I shrug. Her smile vanishes quickly with concern and is replaced. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be mean. I was just making a joke. Fuck, did I say something wrong? Make the wrong look? Activate recovery measures. What? I knew you were joking. I was just playing along with it. I reassure her and attempt to calm her down. Oh, my bad. Stella takes a deep breath as her body loosens. I'm sorry, Anna. I just have a hard time reading people at times. I guess that makes two of us. Yeah, I guess so. I'm glad I'm not alone. Stella chirps in response to my uncontrollable mumbling. Directing her attention towards the cardboard container sitting in her lap, she opens it up, taking a sniff of the sweet goodness with delight. Not waiting for a second longer, the eager Stego cuts off a piece of cinnamon roll and promptly takes a bite from it. As she slowly chews the frosted pastry, Stella lets out a moan of satisfaction. She's clearly enjoying this as much as I am. Sugoi! Stella sighs with pleasure as she savors the cinnamon roll. I haven't had something like this in forever. Wait, didn't you have tiramisu last week? I mean, yeah, but I was talking about cinnamon buns. The blissful Stego clarifies as she raises her fork back as if it were a finger. Sage would love... Wait, who's Sage? Before I can ask her, I notice the drastic change in her demeanor. Moments ago, she was rather cheerful, and now her expression on her face is replaced with a pang of sadness. Tears welling up in her eyes as she drops the fork and it falls to the ground. Stella, what's wrong? But before I receive a response, she begins to weep and as she turns away, placing her face in her palms. Was Sage that purple raptor that sometimes hung out with Stella? I don't remember seeing her body amongst the crowd. Maybe. No, now's not the time to worry about the details. Stella is hurting. For once in your life, Anon, don't be a retard. I set my cinnamon roll down and scoop myself closer to her, placing my arm on her shoulder and with slight hesitation. Hey, it's okay. Do you want to talk about it? No, she said in a shaky voice, her hands muffling her voice. Fuck, this is bad. I have the emotional support skills of a war criminal. None of those Belarusian pottery forms taught me anything about how to comfort a crying girl. Think, Anon, what would Rosa deal? I'm here for you, Stella. I promise you, you're not alone. I gently reach out for her hand as her fingers reacting subconsciously as she returns the grasp. My skin comes into contact with a warm feeling. Her scales feel rather soft as silk. Her hand grasping tightly from mine. However, her wailing continues. Maybe we try getting her mind off things. Doesn't the small have an arcade somewhere on the first floor? Maybe some games might cheer her up a bit. I have an idea. How about we go to... I think that would mend my spirit. What? Wait, how did you know what I was gonna... Oh, right. Stella's crying is replaced with a slight chuckle as she turns to face me. I see her normally lime green face mixed with shades of red along with a line of black dripping from her eyes, her tears staining her makeup. And despite that, I can't help but feel real happy about looking at her. The smile blossoms across her lips, even if only slightly, paired with her celestial blue eyes that radiate pure kindness that dwells within her very soul. When I look at her, I feel joy. Peace, even. Do I? You do seem to mumble quite a bit, Anon. The sweet Stego teases me for my not-so-inner monologue. Fuck, how much did you hear? I think it's kind of cute. Huh? Huh? And yeah, I think going to the arcade sounds like a great idea. Stella lifts herself off the platform and puts her cinnamon roll in a bag. I always loved coming here with my dad when I was younger. Awesome. Let's check it out. I awkwardly fumble as I place my pastry into my bag, nearly dropping it from the jittering arms, causing Stella to giggle. Shifting my weight back onto my non-broken leg, Stella and I rise from the bench. Lead the way, 'cause I sure as hell don't know where to go. I turn towards her, careful to maintain a balance on my crutches. The stars will guide us for the journey ahead. There is the Stella I know, the adorable astrology-loving Stego emerging from within. Almost too quickly, though. Without another word, both of us begin to make our way towards the elevator, passing by all the random shops that are scattered throughout the small. Clothes stores, gift shops, food places. None of them stand out in particular, but a reflection that emerged from the window to my right almost caused me to stop dead in my tracks. Fang, leering at me through the glass, the Revenant's eyes full of envy, her scowl becoming more pronounced. However, her glare isn't directed at me, but rather at the figure next to me. No, I don't have time for this, not today. You've haunted me for the past 5 months. I just want a day where I can forget about all that. Is that too much to fucking ask? Is it? Do I really deserve such solace? Anon? Stella's call made me realize I've been standing in place for the past couple of seconds. Sorry about that, I just got distracted. She's been through enough today. She doesn't need any more on her plate. For once, just pull it together, Anon. For her. Thankfully, the walk towards the arcade wasn't too far. The elevator was ready again from the moment we pressed the button, and we passed the time with small talk as we made our way towards the arcade. The subject primarily ranges from stores we've passed by, the mementos my friend purchased along the way, the sweet cinnamon ambrosia that Stella had within her bags. So Anon, have you had cinnamon rolls from anywhere else before? The Stego inquired, her eyes fixated upon our passing surroundings. That's a good question. I can't say that I have, other than that other time I was telling you about. I explain as I dig within the deep recesses of my mind. I've always been more of a donut kind of guy, to be honest. My answer causes Stella to nearly stop as she lightens up. I love donuts too! Have you tried that local shop in town? Glory Hole Donuts? They make the absolute best. Glory Hole Donuts? What the fuck kind of name was that for a donut shop? In this town? That's the kind of shit you'd expect to see from a store in Canada. Well, yeah, because donuts have holes. And they taste glorious, right? Stella retorts, blissfully unaware of the meaning. The glowing LED sign, followed by the outlandish colors from the entrance's interior in front of us, makes me relieved I don't have to explain the name's meaning to Stella and destroy her innocence. Hey, look, we're here. I blurt out briefly, catching Stella off guard as she's about to interject. As we get close to the entrance, I glance at the establishment sign once again, as it shines the vibrant pink as the flowers of some kind of sound surrounds the words. The Lotus Land Arcade. Interesting name for a mall arcade, although it does seem a bit Eastern. I mean, they do have a lot of cool game machines imported from Japan. Plus, I think it's a cool name. Stella points out in response to what I assumed was my inner thought. That does make sense, I suppose. They've certainly got some theme going on here, which I can see why Stella would be rather eager to visit this place. So was this your first time at on? Oh yeah, it's been ages since I've been to any arcade, really. I reply as we walk through the entrance, the two of us becoming drenched in artificial lighting. The only arcade in Rock Bottom didn't really have any fun games, so I just stuck on my X-Rocks. I see. That makes sense, I guess. Stella shifts her eyes downwards in contemplations. Perhaps fate had you wait for this moment so that your first real arcade would be a blissful experience. Damn, it's that good, huh? Oh yeah, you're gonna love it here, Non. So far as the arcade had already managed to lift my Stego friend's mood. My Stego friend who I've been spending time with alone. Twice now. My Stego friend that I... Never mind, worry about it later on. As I snap back to reality, I can see Stella's been leading us to the front counter while a Tyrannosaurus Rex male around our age is waiting for us with a toothy gunner to approach. Hey guys, how can I help you today? The representative addresses us with a casual but polite tone. Yeah, it's my friend's first time here. I just wanted to ask, how do we get set up? The Tyrannosaurus' face lights up with eagerness. Oh, it is? That's awesome! So basically what we do here is we give you a card that you can load up with digital tokens, and you can use them to play any of our machines here. Does that include the shitty stacker machines they always rip you off by making you think you'd actually win an ice stone? Haha, yeah, they even work on those machines. His response contains a hint of awkwardness, indicating that he was caught off guard by my mumbling. Anon? Stella barely whispers to me in a disappointing tone. Ah, sorry about that. So what do we need to do? I ask, just trying to ease the slight embarrassment. No worries, all good. Just need your first and last name so we can get you set up into our systems and set up. Why does he need our last names? Got it. My name's Anon Y. Mouse. I tell him since I don't want to make myself look like one of the more of a dumbass in front of Stella. Excellent. And your name? This Tyrannosaurus shifts his gaze to Stella, who is looking at the ground uncomfortably. Elare. Her words barely audible amidst the noise pollution caused by the arcade machines. I'm sorry, could you repeat that? The clerk asks as he leans in closer. Stella Baudelaire. Her last name's Baudelaire? I don't know whether to joke about how fancy or how French it sounds. Wow, okay, Mr. Mouse. Wow, okay, Mr. Mouse. Still pouting as I accidentally vocalize my inner thoughts once again. That's not even how it's... You know what? I deserve that. The Tyrannosaurus begins typing away at the computer, bending down as he struggles to reach the keyboard. A couple seconds later, he returns his focus to us. Alright, looks like you're ready to go. Feel free to grab your cards at the end of the table, and you can load up on your cards at any of our terminals. Awesome, thanks! I wave him goodbye, or at least try to while balancing on crutches. This then proceeds with Stella to grab our cards. So Anon, what game do you want to play first? Like I said, this place is a mystery to me, so lead the way. I answer her with an encouraging smile, the sensation becoming less foreign to me. Stella begins to gaze around the arcade as she considers all the possible options for us before she looks at me with an excited expression. I know just the one. Follow me. Almost reflexively, Stella reaches for my hand, only for her to stop halfway through at the realization that my chances of falling on my ass will increase tenfold if I take my hand off my crutch. Oh, sorry. Nah, it's all good. Let's check out the game. The apologetic look on Stella's face fades into enthusiasm as she turns around and starts moving towards the center of the arcade. Gripping my crutches tightly, I follow in pursuit as quickly as I can, trying to avoid bumping into any of the machines or any of the other patrons wandering the arcade. I'm starting to wonder if we should have come here first due to all the snot-nosed kids that have dispersed into the arcade, looking to blow off some steam after school. Ahead of me, Stella stops in front of a rather eccentric-looking machine arcade cabinet. The Grand Stego looks to me with a gentle wave. Over here, Nan. As I move close to the machine, the details become more and more apparent. On the cabinet lays a poster featuring a white-haired dino paired with glasses and a gray track coat. I swear I've seen someone like this around my school at some point. A sense of dread envelops me as I notice the tarot card in his hand, the armored monster in a trench coat behind him, and yet another colorful yet elegant font that reveals the title. Parasarna 4, Arena Ultimate. You know what? I can't even be mad. I was expecting Stella to pick a game like this. Alright, Anon, are you ready? Yeah, let's do it. With that, I'm gonna grab water real quick. Be a minute. And back. Fuck! Language and on. There's kids here. Sorry, crap. That's better. Stella turns to me, sticking her tongue out, her face emoting pure smugness and mischief. I was not expecting this weeb to kick my ass at this game this badly. I can only watch in horror as I see the oversized teddy bear in the left-hand corner being mercilessly clobbered by a blonde cyborg Parasaurolophus with guns for hands. I can only assume that Stella has been secretly competing in fighting game tournaments without anybody's knowledge, which even in itself sounds hard to believe, because she smells far too good to be getting good at fighting games. KO! The screen in front of me cries out, rubbing my defeat in my face. Athena wins! Yay, I win! Stella exclaims as she beams with pride before turning to me. Honestly, I can't be salty over losing. Her bubbly and joyful demeanor is too infectious for me to feel that way. Want to play another round before checking out the other games? Sounds good to me. Yay! Stella cheers as she turns her focus back to the cabinet screen. Her hands plated across the button layout as she navigates the menus. I follow her lead as the character selection loads. This time, she picks a brown-haired tomboy in a green jacket, one of the few humans in this game from the looks of it, and I stick with my previous choice of a giant stuffed teddy bear. I know full well I'm going to get my ass handed to me a second time. I never would have expected her to be this good at video games, but despite that, I'm not thinking about my inevitable defeat. I'm usually pretty competitive and focused when it comes to vidya, but with Stella, my mind can only focus on the time I'm spending with Stella and how much I have enjoyed it. While there are many things, well, there have been some rough spots along the way, the good eclipses the bad. I can imagine how much pain she's had to endure through the past couple months, how alone she must have felt. Raptor Jesus knows I do. The feeling that makes you feel like you're drowning, and you can't reach the surface no matter how hard you swim, but seeing her happy, being able to see her shed at the end of the time, in favor of past self, the real Stella. I cherish it. Fuck you, Kyle! I want to play more Time Crisis and shoot more skinnies in the face! A shrill and squeaky voice emanates from behind us. More snot-nosed middle schoolers. As my head turns to investigate the source of the noise, catching a glance at two dino boys bickering with each other. Both of them look like they can't be older than 12. Bro, I already said I ran out of tokens. My mom only gave me $20. I want to spend the rest of it on more V-Bucks. The shorter Triceratops screaming at his Pachysaurus companion. Fam, you're such a fucking broke boy. The teller between the two equally obnoxious replies, as the two disturb with what little serenity the arcade has. Why don't you just play with that shitty cap gun you got at the dollar store? America's typical youth. Our generation is so fucked. As I turn back to face the cabinet, I catch a brief glance of Stella's face, the cringe and discomfort growing on her face. Considering how loud those fucking ankle biters are yelling from across the arcade, I can't blame her. Round 1. Fight! The speakers blast our ears, commencing the one-sided battle as I find myself against my stable companion, who wastes no time in taking the opportunity to jump dash across the screen and land a well-placed kick in the bear's face. Crap, 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 crap. I panic as I frantically start mashing all the buttons and wiggle the joystick to the point where my wrist looks like it's having a seizure. Stella lets out a giggle in response to my pathetic predicament. God damn it. It's cute when she does that. Bet I can get more than you, pussy. Oh, you're on, loser. Both the tweens shout at each other in the argument. I wonder if it's too late to suggest condoms after 12 years. Hello, Sierra. As I try to focus on my game, I'm distracted by a strange popping sound that echoes throughout the arcade. One of the machines must be busted. Anon? Stella's words pulled me through out of my thoughts. Are you okay? You seem to be mumbling something. Of course I was. No matter. What I can't seem to... Wait a minute. Wait, you can hear me mumble? How? There's enough noise in this arcade to turn someone deaf. Well, I saw your lips moving. You could make out a bit of what you were... She shrugs in response to being cut off by the aforementioned popping sound, which now sounds closer than it was before. Bang! Ha-ha! Got you guys! Stella and I jerk our heads to the left to see the Triceratops kids from earlier, pointing what looks to be a shitty dollar store cap gun at us, with the orange tips and everything. Fucking triggers. I shoot the kid an annoyed look towards the screen. as I turn back towards the screen, taking hold of the control layout as my character begins to move across the screen. But whereas my character is moving, my brunette opponent is standing idly, the ignorance of the giant teddy bear closing on her. Stella, are you ready? I ask her, receiving only a silenced response. I look to the left to see Stella staring motionlessly at the ground, with a look of horror painted across her face as her body quivers with terror. Fuck, this isn't good. I begin to go for her hand, after taking off the joystick. Hey, are you? Before I'm able to lay a finger on her or receive a response, she turns away and runs towards the exit in tears. Shit, not again. As I move in pursuit, abandoning the game, I turn to face the kid who is completely staring at me dumbfounded. The next time you point a gun at someone, kid, you better be ready to fucking kill them. I briefly catch his face turn from orange to white. I apologize for the phone notifications. They're fixed. I briefly catch his face turn from orange to white as I run towards the exit, more focused on my now missing friend who's fled into the arcade in tears. Moving as fast as I can without tripping, I waddle myself out of the arcade and try to find where Stella went. While I have been able to improve my walking speed when using crutches, I doubt these makeshift limbs will allow me to keep up with her. As I exit the neon-kissed establishment, I spy another Triceratops to my left. However, this one is far more familiar. Fuck off, I shout towards the simulacrum of Trish. My response does nothing to halt the vitriol Kate emanating from her scowl. I don't have time for this. Okay, if I was an emotionally scarred Stegosaurus girl, where would I be? Let's see. When we all went to Dynamo's the other week, Stella drove me outside because the crowds were getting to her. So where's the nearest exit? I glance around my surroundings. Amidst the generic apparently the new Hummer has 4 T-tops. Anyway, back to it. I glance around my surroundings. Amidst the generic clothing outlets and passing shoppers, I managed to make out the sign for an exit wedged between 2 clothing stores. A weird place for an exit, but now's not the time to be worrying about that. Wasting no time, I continue limping my way towards the exit as the artificial light in the mall begins to be replaced by more natural light emanating from the outside world. As my eyes adjust to the light, I spot my target as I see one lone green-haired woman in a white hoodie, her plaited tail coiling around her legs, and her body heaving as she hyperventilates on the bench. Shit, this isn't good. That fucking kid must have really set her off. Okay, thinking on. How should I approach this? I press the automatic button left of the door as the cool wind kisses my face. Stella, are you okay? I call out to her, but my words are met only with the sound of her frantic breathing. Okay, maybe I should try asking about her art. That might make her keep her mind off things. Easy, Stella, it's gonna be okay. I call her to set myself down on the bench next to her. Why don't you tell me about that new art piece you were working on? While her eyes remained fixated on the concrete ground by their feet, clear her throat. It's going good. I saw this. The despondent Stegosaurus struggles to find the right words as her body trembles. Nice going on. I'm sorry, Anon. Stella turns towards me. I can still see the fresh tears flowing from her red puffy eyes, albeit her body language seems to have calmed down slightly. I'm so sorry, Anon. So sorry. You've been nothing but nice to me since our date, and I ruined everything by crying again. Wait, did she just say... Not right now, Anon. I just wanted to have a fun time with you today. Stella sighed with dejection as her shoulders dropped. I just hate how weak I've become. How much of a burden I am. I know that feeling all too well. The gnawing feeling reminds me of every mistake you've ever made and how it hurts the ones you love. And you would begin to resent yourself with these errors. It's a suffocating feeling, but one that I deserve. But it hurts to see Stella, of all people, talk about herself like this. You're not a burden to me, Stella, not one bit. I reassure her as her eyes meet my own. I've been miserable for so long. Almost every day for the past 5 months has been nothing but hell for me. But when I found you and Rosa again, it brought back a side of me that I thought died a long time ago. Just like earlier, my right hand finds its way and gently takes hold of Stella's hand. And getting to spend this day together with you, it's the happiest I've been in a long time. As the words leave my lips, I watch the sorrow fade from Stella's face as a smile begins to blossom from her. I feel the same way, Anon. Before I am able to say anything else, Stella pulls me into a tight hug, her arms wrapping around my torso tightly as her tail coils around my back. A feeling I'm sadly familiar with, but I mimic her actions nonetheless. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Her muffled voice rises as she nuzzles her new snoot into my chest. Feeling her embrace, I could get lost in the moment. But sadly it comes to an end as Stella pulls me away from me while simultaneously unwrapping her tail from me. When I'm with you, Anon, I don't feel so alone anymore, she says with a sad smile as she looks at Wei for a brief moment. You make me feel at ease. I feel safe when I'm with you. You don't feel safe when you're around Rosa? I inquire. Slightly confused, albeit touched by the revelations. A look of surprise shoots across her face as she defensively raises her hands. Oh no, of course, I feel safe with Rosa. She's like a sister to me. But even then, we have our differences. And I feel as though there are many parts of me she doesn't truly understand. The stay goes as Sarah's eyes point towards the gap between us on the bench. But with you I feel a sense of belonging. That I'm not alone. That I'm not afraid to show who I am to you. Her words speak to my very soul. For the longest time I've put up this barrier in front of me, so afraid to let anybody in due to fear of rejection or ridicule. That's why I behaved the way I did, and so many people who tried to reach out to get to know the real me. Nazer, Reed, Rosa, Stella, Fang. But now, with Stella, I feel I no longer need this barrier. And I'm not afraid of letting her get close, because I see a part of myself in her. Me too, Stella. Me too. Stella's smiling deepened as the silence followed my words. I feel a warm fluttering in my chest as our hands remained intertwined. As her facial expression softened, Stella began to lean in ever so slightly, and my instincts compelling me to mirror her actions. It felt like an eternity as we closed the distance, her lips nearly meeting mine. Except the moment nearly comes, because I feel a blunt force impact the side of my head, sending me into the concrete below as I land on my crippled leg, too. Causing me to cry out as the explosive and painful sensation envelops my leg, completely eclipsing the pain to my cheek. No, Anon! God, fuck, who? Stella speaks a single word, but ringing in my ears muffles them, preventing any comprehension of it. I take a moment to gather my surroundings, still slightly disoriented from the mysterious attack. Looking up, I see Stella standing in front of me, her body painted with fear as she gazes at... Wait, Trish? No, how is this possible? How did you... You're not even real. My voice calls out to the personified memory of my nemesis. My accusation causing her to grit her teeth vitriol. Oh, I'll show you fucking real, you real skinny. Why are you doing this? Anand didn't do anything wrong? Wait, did Stella just... That means she's actually real? It's okay, here. Stella turns around and reaches for my hand, helping me off the ground. The process is difficult and awkward, as she uses all her strength to lift me up as I shift all my weight into my right leg. Grabbing hold of the crutches on the bench, I manage to find my footing, staring into the eyes of my assaulter on equal ground, as the violent Triceratops facing me buffs with hate. He didn't do anything wrong. Are you fucking kidding me? Trish points towards Stella before pointing in front of me. This monkey deserves to die for what he's done. I know exactly what she wants. Me dead. Even though I'm staring at Trish right now, the image of her being held back by faculty as she screamed at me when everything went down flashes across my mind. The memory practically seared into my psyche, among other things. But that's not what I want to ask here. So that was you and Dynamos last week? Why didn't you finish the job then? I call out to her, no emotion other than stoicism accompanying my voice. Mo got in the way, as usual. Trish growls as her hand curls into a fist. If it were up to me, I'd break the other leg too, right before breaking your fucking neck. I'm taken aback by Trish's confession. But I honestly can't say I'm too surprised for 1 second. If there's anybody who would have it out for me, it's her. Oh. I had a feeling it was you that broke my leg. I can't say I blame you. There isn't a second where It was you? Why would you do something so horrible, Trish? Stella raises her voice towards the purple adversary, effectively cutting off anything I had left to say. Trish's whole shaking begins as her anger grows like an inferno. Don't you fucking get it, you fucking spurg? He took away the only person I ever loved. Trish has assaulted me, doxed me, bullied me, and even threatened to murder me. But of all things Trish has said and done, the words that just rang out from her surprised me the most. You took them away from me. I helped them figure out who they wanted to be. I was there for them, ready to take their whole world by their side. Trish's eyes meet me on the ground. As her voice faltered, the sorrow from her words became leaking through. I love them more than anything else in the world. The vitriol returns to Triceratops as her malicious gaze returns to me. But because of you, you ruined everything. The band, our friendship, you killed Fang! Her voice roaring with hate, causing Stella to quake slightly. Leave him alone. Anna didn't ask for this fate. Stella steps towards, inching away from me. Fang hurt people too. She killed... It's they, you fucking retard! And Anon drove them to it. Trish slams her foot on the ground as she pointed at her finger at the Stella. And what the hell did you know about it? Why am I so fucking tired? What the fuck? It's not even fucking doing. Trish slams her foot on the ground as she points the finger at Stella. And what the hell would you know about it? The discomfort on Stella's face becomes more apparent as the vengeful Trish continues her verbal assault. You're probably only standing up for this damn skinny because he's an anime-living loser like you. And birds of a feather, right? Trish began to slowly walking up to Stella as she begins taunting her. Even back then, you were nothing but a sad little aspie that nobody liked. We all thought you were a fucking joke. Rosa probably does too. A new sight begins to unfold before my eyes as I can see the discomfort in Stella turn to anger as she curls up her fist and she grits her teeth. If you died that day, no one would ever miss you. But before Trish is able to finish uttering the cruel remark, a blur of green and purple flashes before my eyes. I stare in disbelief as Stella's fist shoots towards Trish's face, the impact of the punch sending her into the ground, causing the lavender-colored dino to cry out in pain. I said to leave us alone, you fucking trigger cunt! Stella rears out, yells out with anger I didn't know she was capable of. Tu ne riendetre quen puntende bote. I nailed that. My attention is drawn to Stella speaking in French, but is quickly pulled away as I catch Trish's face quickly fading into primal rage, completely eclipsing Stella's anger as she lunges off the ground towards the stego. I'm gonna kill you! The sudden protective instincts take hold of me as I dash between the two, dropping my crutches in the process while completely ignoring the pain in my leg. Leave her out of this! If it's me she wants. I'm not going to let anybody else get hurt for my own failures. The impact of the diminutive dino sends us both up towards the pavement. Trish manages to recover quicker than I as she pins me to the ground. The pain in my leg begins to flare even further. Before I can react, the tightening and constricting feeling in my neck as I try to gather my bearings. That's when I notice Trish's tiny hands currently wrapped around my throat as she squeezes the air out. For such a small girl, she is surprisingly strong. Unable to shake her off the pins, shake her off as she pins her body weight on me. I can only watch her eyes filled with murderous intent as she begins to crush my windpipe. Stop, please. Stella cries out from behind us. My vision begins to spin as I'm further deprived of oxygen. Everything begins to feel light as I feel my consciousness slipping away further and further. So this is how it ends, huh? I lose the urge to fight back as my life fades before my eyes, accept my fate as my penance. However, even amidst my faint hearing, I manage to make out a nearby voice. Dea que se vaya! Rosa? The mysterious force suddenly yanks my would-be killer away from me, setting me free as the air returns to my lungs. Let me go, you fucking pigs! The enraged Triceratops calls out as she's pinned down by two security guards, one of them being a human, the other being a raptor. Fuck, I thought I was gonna die there. Anon! Stella cries out to me as she lowers herself to the ground, her voice trembling as she places her hand on my shoulder. You saved me, even though you... Are you two alright? Our attention is pulled towards the familiar voice as our eyes spot Rosa walking in towards us. The fear and concern painted across her face apparent. She was gonna... Stella weakly chokes out, seemingly on the verge of tears. Hey, shh. Está bien. Rosa kneels next to us both, placing a hand on each of our shoulders as she directs their attention towards me. How about you, Anon? Can you walk? Yeah, I think so. I rasp out before descending into a coughing fit. Save your strength, Nino. Let's get you two out of here. Rosa places a hand on my chest as she motions for me to be quiet. Stella, could you grab his crutches for him? Yeah. Stella utters, clearly rattled by the events that transpired before, but rises from the ground and retrieves them nonetheless. Rosa takes hold of my hand and lifts me from the ground as I shift my weight on my somewhat functioning right leg, the motion becoming almost routine at this point. No, let me go! I'm gonna kill him! Fuck you! Stella places the crutches between my arms. I notice Trish currently screaming at the security guards to restrain her.
We'll take it from here. You three get out of here, okay?
The Raptor security guard, as he begins to retrieve a set of handcuffs from his utility belt. Rosa, how did you find us? I got lucky, vamos. Let's bring you home. My car isn't parked too far away. Rosa turns to us both, barely answering Stella's question. You're coming too, Anan. I fear it isn't safe for you right now. Despite the indomitable effort on Stella's face, she nods in approval. They would want me to come with them, right? To Stella's house, I mean? I guess they're right. I don't think Trish found us by mere coincidence, but then again, how did Rosa? Thank you. You're probably right. She's also the one who broke my leg when you two found me. Esa para cool. My revelation causing a look of surprise and anger to grow on Rosa's face as she curses in Spanish, while looking towards the perpetrator in question, who's currently flailing around in a frenzy as she's carried away by the mall security. It's going to be okay, you two. We'll talk in the car. Rosa takes hold of Stella's hand, who's still clearly in shell shock over my near-death experience. The three of us begin to walk towards the parking lot in silence. Raptor, Jesus, I almost died. If I had been a second too slow, that could have been Stella. I can't, I won't let anyone else get hurt because of me. Alright, that's the second chapter for the night, and I'm tired. I need to get to bed so I can get to work tomorrow. Yeah, I'm enjoying reading this. This is pretty good. It's fucking excellent, right? Those of you in the Discord know that you can come yap with me in the intermission, and it will make the yap last longer if you so want that. Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to turn it off for the night. So you have a good evening. Yeah, no, this is a lot of fun. Sarge even visited. great. Yep. Good night.